on a minute.
What I was gonna send you would have been overkill. I mean, that's, you can imagine on there, so I don't know, for like a full purchase contract.
Oh, yeah, we're right there. Oh. Yeah, okay.
You got 1 minute as well.
That was good weather. So,
You guys just tell me when I'm ready.
we're close.
I always try to show up early, so I'm ready. I don't like surprises.
Mhm. I was gonna suggest it.
Lots of stuck.
Huh?
Lots of stuck.
Uh-huh.
So then, he's ready. He's ready. He's ready. Okay, all right. Cambridge City Council is now in session. Please rise for the invocation followed by a pledge of allegiance.
Almighty God, our Father, we thank you for each and every person that's here tonight. And Lord, I thank you for the business at hand. I pray you give us wisdom to make good decisions, good choices for this community. And I thank you for the accomplishments for this, what we've done, what we're going to do. And I pray, Lord, that you would help us to make Cambridge even better than it is now for all of our residents and visitors. Lord, we thank you for all things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's have roll call, please.
Conaway.
Here.
Evancho.
Here.
Loffman.
Here.
McMillan.
Here.
Mauer.
Here.
Wolverton.
Here.
Zaleski.
Here.
And, reading of the minutes.
I make a motion, we dispense reading minutes, place on file.
And all those in favor?
You need a second?
Second?
Second.
Kim? I did it
Second.
already. Yeah, second. Yeah, Kim? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long night. Okay. All right, let's go with mayor's report.
Just started.
We'll get there.
Good evening, council. It's Easter week, so a lot going on. The weather's trying to break and people's on the move. I've got a couple little things in front here. Number one, requesting the fire department to transfer $35,000 from the county auditor tax to services by contract. Two, requesting economic community development to include in the 2024 Community Housing Impact Preservation Grant, CHIP, in the grant budget for fiscal year 2025.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. We will refer those to Finance Committee.
Council President, I do have a couple other little informational items. I believe our park is going to have an Easter egg hunt on the 19th, which is this weekend at 10 o'clock, so public announcement for those. Appreciate all the work they're doing out there, mowing, getting things ready, mulching around. It's looking pretty good. Same with the cemetery. If you haven't been out there, they've remodeled a little bit inside the building. That's really nice how they changed things around. Got the new rule board up that you guys changed our code a little bit there not too long ago. I like the way that looks. And they have received their new lawnmowers. They're riding around on them and they're looking pretty good and doing the job. Claremont sidewalk is moving pretty daggone fast out through there, and considering the amount of traffic and different things, it's been working real good so far. I hope they finish on the same note they started in on. And they are measuring the other side up for another year and a half out or two, but we'll get there. But it's gonna look nice, and it'll be good for the kids to have a little wider avenue down there. The new building, that the gentleman was in to see us, most of you know his name, I'm not gonna say it yet, because I didn't get to talk to him about it, but that building on Woodlawn that we passed not too long ago, that's starting up down there. We met with him last week. So that'll be a nice change coming down around that turn there.
Mhm.
One that jumped out, I missed at first, but I do remember him talking to me last year. Columbia Gas came into town, had a major problem down here on 10th Street, right below your place.
Mhm.
And they dug and they got down in there and found out that this pipe is bad everywhere. So that's what you see going on up here by the Elks Club. Pull down McKendy's Bakery into Brown Avenue, and it's going to be a lengthy procedure. And you can see by the size of that gas line,
Yeah.
we want that fixed.
Yeah.
So anyhow, they're on it. A lot of people, a lot of local guys working there, but it is a little hectic in there on top of everything else. But I guess we ought to be getting used to it, but now, I had a little saying, Mr. Lanning told me the other day, let's see some backhoes rolling around here. Now I find myself fussing about that from time to time. I guess I'll create that. Salvation Army had a banquet the other day. I was invited to, and I was really glad I went. And I just want to say, give a shout out to Bob Wilhelm, 32 years. He served unselfishly on that board, kept their numbers all them years, and he is officially retired. Just a great guy, like so many out there that just do some things they don't ask, they just do. And see the captains, actually the captain's wife became a colonel, and he's working on it, so they're getting close there. And then your clerk right in front, I can't miss her. I was sitting at the table the other night, and they said she's going to be next year's president of the Living Word. So you see her hair sticking straight up, you know what happened to her.
Okay. Okay.
And your council president was doing the auction, and he's right into her pretty good. But that's pretty much everything, unless somebody has some questions for me.
Any questions for the mayor?
Yeah, just hit the spring cleanup one more time, Mayor.
Spring cleanup, May 9th and 10th, and they do take tires. And I'm glad you said that. It was written down. I skipped over it. But, and with that, mowing is now active out there. We're going to be turning them loose here the next couple days to get ready for the holidays. We've had a couple interesting moves, some furniture in some odd places here in the last couple of weeks, but we've been able to stay after it. And I think Skip was down a couple days, but he might be better now. So we'll go from there.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
All right, we don't have anything from the city attorney tonight. How about communications?
I just have a request from the auditor with several transfers and appropriations.
Okay, made a motion to send it to finance. Tim?
I'll make a motion to refer to finance committee.
Okay, and John?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, ayes have it.
And I also have the 2024 annual report from the Cambridge Municipal Court,
Okay,
which you will hear about shortly.
all right. We don't want to,
Accept and file.
we will accept the file. Motion?
Motion to accept and place on file.
Brian?
Second.
Second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, same side, ayes have that. We're moving right along. Okay. All right, how about reports and committees?
Report of Finance Committee, April the 7th. We recommend that council authorizes the administration to renew the existing residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan.
Any questions on that report?
Report of Finance Committee, April the 7th. We recommend that the following appropriations be approved. Appropriate $2,868.81 to insurance reimbursement, $20,000 to code enforcement services by contract, $6,410.19 to code enforcement refuse trash.
Any questions on that report? Okay,
Report of Finance Committee, April the 7th. We recommend that council adopt an ordinance to extend the current CRAs.
any questions on that report? All good?
Report of Finance Committee, April the 7th. We recommend that council approve the donation of K-9 tank from the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 10, to the city of Cambridge for use in the Cambridge Police Department.
Any questions on that report?
Report of City Services Committee, April the 7th. We recommend that council accept the right-of-way and street from US Bridge.
Okay, any questions on that report? All right. That'll be it for the unfinished reports and committees. And now unfinished business, we don't have any of that. And we will move to the audience portion, which I think our municipal court judge, Stephanie Williams, is going to come up and give us a report tonight.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Stephanie Williams. I'm the judge of the Cambridge Municipal Court. As it was indicated, we recently filed our annual report for 2024, which was the first report prepared during my term in office. I was here last year, but that report reflected numbers and work done in my predecessor's time. So Couple of highlights from the report that was submitted. Of probably primary significance is that we managed to reduce the general fund budget expenditures by $109,566.51 from those expended in 2023. A primary source of that reduction was the elimination of the magistrate position. We found that with the caseload as it is, there's enough time in the docket for me to hear all of the cases, so we have not filled the position of magistrate, and at this point in time, I don't have any intention to do so. I think last year when I was here, I'd indicated that the only time that that might become an issue is if our civil docket continues to grow, which it has continued to grow. At this point, it's still manageable, but if that continues to grow any farther than kind of current pace, it might be necessary for a part-time magistrate to hear some of those cases. But that allowed us to make a pretty significant cut in the actual expenditures in the budget. We also undertook some projects to upgrade some technology in the court. We hired, previously the court had an IT personnel, not sure what you call him, that worked directly for the court. He left before I took over. We had kind of a stopgap measure in there with Scott Brown, who was performing some services for us. He wasn't really interested in maintaining that contract, so we ultimately contracted with Baker IT Services, and they've done a fantastic job of identifying some issues that we have. Now, unfortunately, those issues come with price tags, and so we're maneuvering around that. We did last year install a backup system that was necessary to ensure that all of our data is protected. Obviously, the court is reliant on computers. I mean, I think that's just the nature of the beast for today's society, and everything that we do is on computers and stored on computers, and so we have to ensure that that's all maintained and protected, one, for public access, and two, just for record retention. So they helped us in identifying what we needed and installing that in order to ensure that we can properly support our systems and make sure that everything is maintained. We did apply for an IT grant last year. Unfortunately, we weren't approved. We've applied again this year in hopes of continuing to upgrade the IT services that we have available. We also did begin participation last year in the e-warrant system. This was actually started before I took the bench, and then it was implemented last year. And what this did was allow any warrants that are issued to automatically be transmitted to law enforcement. So rather than printing a paper warrant that has to go to the law enforcement agency that was involved, they then enter it into their lead system. We enter it at the court, it's automatically then known to law enforcement throughout the state. So that allows law enforcement to do their job more efficiently, and those warrants to be served a lot of times more expeditiously. Also last year, we implemented the contributions in lieu of community service program. And again, I know I spoke about that last year when I was here. That program allows for individuals to perform community service in lieu of paying fines or costs, or to make a payment to pay rather than performing the community service. So essentially, what it does is allow an individual who is otherwise employed and working and doesn't have time to come to the court to perform community service to make a reasonable payment in lieu of doing that. Those monies all stay here locally and are divided between the city and the county based upon the percentages of funding that they provide to the court. In 2024, there was $31,000 roughly generated into that program, which then came back to the city and county. The community service program continues to be supervised by Skip Weatherall. He does a fantastic job. I know the mayor mentioned him. Skip works extremely hard every day, except when he's sick. Last year, the court oversaw, and specifically Skip oversaw, 7,149 hours of community service. That was an increase of over 100 hours from the prior year. And that time doesn't include the extra time that Skip puts in, coming in on Saturdays to clear the sidewalks, or to ready the court to make sure it's presentable to the public on Monday. So he does a fantastic job, and I don't think he gets enough credit for all the hard work that he does do. So otherwise, as to, some specifics from the report, unfortunately, the revenue from the court did decrease last year. The civil revenues increased pretty dramatically by 26%. Unfortunately, criminal decreased by 17%. There's a total decrease in the total revenues of 4% from 2023. I'll be perfectly honest with all of you, I don't see that trend changing. The legislature continues to make changes that make it much more difficult for the court to collect on fines and costs that are imposed by the court. Just recently, there was a change to the law. The clerk's office previously could issue what was called a license forfeiture suspension on a driver's license if someone failed to pay their speeding ticket or traffic ticket. There have been some limitations and restrictions on that now, so we're not as able to issue those forfeiture suspensions. And those were things that a lot of times were successful in people then coming in and paying their fines or costs because they wanted to lift that suspension. So that's something that we're having to work through. But as I said, I don't see the trend of decreased revenues changing anytime soon. The overall expenses from our special funds were also reduced as well. In the report that was presented, we showed a decrease from $904,102 to $654,472. Now, part of that was because the SOAR grant that we previously had was no longer awarded last year. That was about $160,000 of that. So there still was a pretty significant decrease in the expenditures from the special funds as well. As I indicated, the case filings at this point seem fairly consistent. There were some increases last year by agencies, some agencies decreased, and our probation cases increased slightly. Now, this year, so far, it appears that we're staying pretty consistent with last year. In January of 2024, the court saw 325 total criminal filings, total filings. This year, it was 362. So we had a little bit of an increase in January. In February, though, we had a pretty marked decrease from 428 filings down to 331. And then in March, we went from 460 to 443. So they're staying pretty consistent in the same number of filings. I know the Cambridge Police Department is now up to full staff again, so that is increasing the number of cases that we see. And in 2024, even they increased their filings by about 17%. So we expect that will probably remain about the same. That's about all I have. If anyone has any questions, I would be more than happy to answer those.
Do you have any questions? Anybody? Go ahead.
Yep, Judge Williams, I appreciate you being here and appreciate the job you guys did too on the finances. I think
Thank you.
that's definitely a help. But I did have some questions with the magistrate
Mhm.
plan. I'm assuming there is a plan would that be more something that you contingency plan, I guess is what I'm saying. At this point, do you have one, or would that be something you'd look at as the need comes up?
That's something that we'll address as the need arises. As I said, right now, with the number of cases that we have, it has been more than manageable on my part to hear all the cases. It would take a dramatic increase in probably two things: civil cases and jury trials, in order to kind of derail that and make it necessary to hire a magistrate. And the reason I say that is because right now we have Thursdays are the day that we devote to civil cases. 3 Thursdays each month we'll have civil hearings the entire day. 1 Thursday a month we've been devoting to jury trials. We had 2 jury trials last year. Thus far this year we haven't had any. Should there be a dramatic increase in the requests and actual going forward of jury trials, then that's going to eliminate our civil time. So that would dramatically affect the docket and the ability to hear those cases in a timely manner. Now, as far as funding for the magistrate, we do have appropriated funds in our special projects fund to cover the cost of that, and I wouldn't anticipate any additional need for funding for that, because as I said, it would be a part-time position solely to cover a very limited portion of the docket. Now, I will warn you all, there is a request coming for an additional appropriation for the court. One of the line items we have is for court costs and attorney fees, which go to fund competency evaluations. In 2024, we paid for 4 competency evaluations. So in preparing the budget last year, we reduced the appropriation that was requested from the prior year. And then unfortunately, this year, those requests have exploded. We have already paid for 5,
Wow.
and we have 1 currently in the works, 1 more that I'm sure is coming, and we sit here at April 15th. So we anticipate that that is going to continue, and actually it's something that's become kind of a trend across the state of Ohio. I went to a conference in New Philly, I don't know, a month ago, back in February, about the issues of competency and sanity, because it is increasing across the state. So I wrote a letter to you all today requesting for that, so I didn't want you to think, "Oh, she's there talking about how much money they saved, and then she said, "Well, you're asking for more."
And then you
So
want
I figured
more.
I'd bring it up.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Any other questions?
And I did have one more for
Okay.
you, Judge. I was looking, you were talking about those civil cases, and I noticed those really have gone up every year for
They
4
have.
years, and they really spiked in '24. Is that, just so understanding, is that just where, what, just in general, what's the cause of that? And a civil case, does it represent individuals against individuals or individuals against companies? Could you
Both.
elaborate a little bit on
Both.
that?
So civil cases would encompass anything from a small claims complaint, which are usually individuals versus individuals, to collections like credit card debts, unpaid utility accounts, things like that, to eviction actions. Most of the increase, I believe, is in the kind of collection area. We see a lot of credit cards. And I don't know exactly what it's attributable to. I think a lot of it is kind of catch up from COVID still, because a lot of the accounts do seem to be a little bit older. Maybe have given folks time to try to, work something out, and then it doesn't come to fruition. So then the credit card company is required to file in order to try to collect. I don't want to say there's a good thing about that, but the good thing about that is a lot of those cases don't really result in court time, because a lot of those folks the company will file the complaint, defendant will be served. If they don't file any kind of answer, then the company will generally file for a default judgment. So it's a matter of my time in reviewing the motions and signing those, but there's not actual in-court time in the vast majority of those cases.
Thank you.
Any questions, comments? No?
Other questions?
Yeah. So, thank you for coming
right,
up and
thank you
giving
for
that
having me.
report.
Thank
you.
Very,
Thank you.
very
Thank you,
good
Judge.
report. Very positive. Okay, anybody else in the audience portion would like to come up and speak tonight? You got 5 minutes and just need your name and address. Yes, ma'am. Yes, you made a pledge to make.
Just go and ask.
Permission
granted.
That's the first time for that move, but, yeah,
He's back.
I would like to get on the docket next week to go over executive session on contract. On the specific.
Finance committee.
Finance
Motion
side, yeah.
for the finance
And I
committee.
would take a moment while I'm standing here, just to thank the judge personally and her assistant. Nice flow.
Yes.
I didn't pick any more gray hair up this week, so I think you're doing a good job, no doubt about it. Thank you.
We need a motion for that.
You can put it as part of his request. That
Okay.
goes on with the finance.
Okay, so it all went and we're good. Okay. All right, okay, let's move on. Do we have any new business tonight? No new business tonight? Okay, we're going to move on to ordinances and resolutions, and I think you have something special here this evening.
We do. This is one of our favorite things we get to do at city council is recognize our young people. And she is no stranger. She's been up here before with her YMCA comrades. So tonight we have the honor to recognize Paisley Williams. Whereas Paisley Williams, Cambridge Middle School 8th grader, participated in the OAT CCC Indoor State Track and Field Championship. And whereas Paisley competed in the 60-meter hurdles and the pole vault. And whereas Paisley placed 5th in the 60-meter hurdles with a time of 10:20.
And whereas Paisley's most significant event was the pole vault, where she cleared 11.2 on her first attempt to set a new state record, which was set at 11.1 in 2023. And whereas Paisley is ranked #1 on the United States Middle School Girls Pole Vault list. Now therefore be it
Awesome.
resolved by the Council of the City of Cambridge on behalf of the residents of Cambridge that we hereby recognize and congratulate the outstanding accomplishments of Paisley Williams. So Paisley, if you would come
like to
forward, President Leonard will present you with the resolution, and make sure you turn around so there can be lots of photo ops. Yes, of course.
Nice.
Wait a minute, Paige. Turn around this way. Please.
I pointed this out at the meeting a couple weeks ago, but
Great job.
I think it's important to note that she is #1 in the nation, not little old Ohio or the Midwest, but the nation. I just think that's worth another round of applause.
Yeah.
Would you like to comment on anything?
Sure, Paisley, come on up.
You don't have to.
You don't
You
have
don't
to.
have to.
We do have one
Mom?
question. Do you have any Olympic aspirations
Please
with
say
your
yes.
talents?
Mom wants to
Great
say
job,
anything.
kiddo.
Mom looks
Yes.
like she wants to say something. Come up to the microphone so we can get you.
Aha.
I just want to say thank you. It's really nice living in a small town like this where we get the recognition that we do. So I appreciate you supporting Paisley, and we're very excited. So
Awesome.
That's
glad you
That's
awesome.
awesome. Well
shared in it
deserved.
with us. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Your community is very proud of you.
Keep up the hard work.
Yes, very much so. Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and go on to the rest of our ordinances now.
An ordinance vacating portion of Brown Avenue in the city of Cambridge, Ohio, third reading.
Motion to pass?
John?
I'll second the pass.
Roll call.
Zaleski,
Roll call.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes.
This is a tough job. Ordinance is declared adopted.
An ordinance authorizing the administration to renew residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan.
Um,
Motion to suspend.
okay, Kim,
Second to suspend?
right, and roll call?
Zaleski.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes.
Steve,
Motion to pass?
Tim,
Second the motion to pass?
any discussion? Roll call.
Evancho.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes.
And that motion is declared adopted.
An ordinance of transfers and appropriations.
Tim,
Motion to suspend?
John,
Second to spin.
roll call?
Mauer.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Brian,
Motion to pass?
Kim,
Second to pass?
any discussion? And roll call?
Zaleski.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
And that motion is declared adopted. All right,
An ordinance extending all existing community reinvestment area agreements.
Mike,
Motion to suspend?
Steve,
Second the motion?
roll call?
Zaleski.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes.
Motion to pass.
Brian,
Second to pass?
any discussion on that? None? Roll call?
Mauer.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
And that motion is declared adopted.
An ordinance authorizing the administration to enter into an agreement with Ohio Department of Transportation for sodium chloride for the 2025 winter season.
Okay, John,
Motion to suspend.
I'll second the motion to suspend?
okay, roll call?
Conaway.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Brian,
Motion to pass.
Tom,
Second the motion.
any discussion? Roll call.
Zaleski.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
And that motion is declared adopted.
An ordinance accepting K-9 from the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 10.
Okay. Steve,
Motion to suspend?
Mike,
I'll second that.
okay, roll call.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes. Tom,
Motion to pass.
he had his finger up first. Kim,
Second to pass.
all right, any discussion with that one? None? Hearing none, we'll go with the roll call.
Mauer.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
And that motion is declared adopted.
An ordinance accepting right-of-way and street from US Bridge.
Okay. Tim,
Motion to suspend?
Mike,
Second that.
roll call.
Mauer.
Yes.
Zaleski.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Brian,
Motion to pass.
Tom,
Second to pass.
all right, any discussion on that? None hearing none, roll call.
Zaleski.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Conaway.
Yes.
All right. And that motion is declared adopted. And miscellaneous.
Yes, sir. Next Monday, Finance Committee will meet on April 21st at 4:30.
Anybody else have anything for miscellaneous? Ms. McMillan?
Yes, I just wanted, last week I mentioned about Parkside Tasty Treat opening. Well, they're getting ready for the pool to open as well. But for the next 2.5 weeks until May 2nd, the pool passes are on sale at a discounted rate. So jump on that, folks, and get your discounted rate so you can enjoy the summer at the pool.
Anybody else have anything? Hearing none? All right, John?
Motion we adjourn.
All right, we are adjourned. All right.
Good job,
Will you
Jeff.
send me that picture?
Yeah, that was a lot tonight.
That was quick. You guys
Hey,
keep throwing
Katie,
A lot of stuff on me here.
Before you